In this world full of distractions and noise, it's easy to overlook the quiet strength, the silent grace, and the unseen favor that rests upon a woman who walks in alignment with a higher purpose. Today, we are not here to speak about outward beauty or surface-level success. Instead, we dive deeper into the spirit, into the heart, and into the quiet signs that reveal something far more powerful: divine favor. You see, in every culture, every tradition, there are those rare individuals who seem to carry a different kind of energy. Not loud, not boastful, but deeply rooted, aligned, whole. These women do not chase validation. They carry a peace that is not shaken by chaos, a strength that is not forged by the world, but gifted from above. These are women favored by God. But how do you recognize such favor? What are the subtle signs? Not all blessings are visible. Not all power is loud, and not every divine gift comes wrapped in comfort. Sometimes favor looks like struggle. Sometimes it looks like being set apart. Sometimes it feels lonely, because you are being prepared for something greater than what the world understands. In this talk, I will guide you through 7 powerful signs that reveal when a woman is walking under divine favor. These signs are not to create pride. They are to awaken purpose. They are reminders that you are seen, that you are chosen, that even when the world misunderstands you, heaven never does. Let us begin. There are moments in life when you feel completely alone, even when surrounded by people. This type of isolation is not physical. It is spiritual. It's a pulling away from the noise, from the distractions, from the constant movement of the world around you. While others are celebrating, engaging, or chasing after things, you find yourself in solitude, often questioning why life feels so silent. This isolation, however, is not a punishment. It is not rejection. It is a divine separation. You are being set apart, not because you are less, but because you are being prepared for more. When a woman is favored by God, her path often begins in hiddenness. Like a seed buried in the ground, her growth is invisible to others. She does not bloom in the open right away. She is being rooted first. There is a quiet depth being cultivated within her. She is being refined in silence, because what she is being prepared for requires a foundation that is unshakable. In this stage, people might leave her life. Opportunities might pass her by. Invitations may never arrive. But what is truly happening is divine alignment. God is protecting her from noise that would distract, relationships that would drain, and environments that would delay her purpose. There is a sacredness in being alone, but only those who are called will understand it. The world teaches us to fear loneliness. It tells us that isolation is a sign of being unwanted or unloved. But the truth is the opposite. Some journeys require privacy, some breakthroughs require silence, and some callings require you to be pulled away from the crowd so you can hear the whisper of God without interference. In this sacred space, distractions fall away. The voice of the world becomes faint, and in the stillness you begin to hear what your soul has always known but was too busy to recognize. It is in isolation that self-awareness sharpens. It is here that you begin to recognize your worth, not because someone else affirms it, but because you remember who you were before the world told you who to be. This is the place where you begin to see yourself as God sees you, not through the lens of fear or insecurity, but through the clarity of divine purpose. It is in the quiet that you confront the patterns that no longer serve you, the people you held on to out of fear, and the parts of yourself that are ready to evolve. Many favored women in history were first hidden. Before Esther became queen, she was unknown. Before Mary birthed a savior, she lived in quiet faith. Before Deborah led with strength, she sat in stillness under a tree, hearing God's voice. Their favor did not begin with applause. It began with silence. Their purpose was not found in attention. It was revealed in obedience. These women were not chosen because they were loud or visible. They were chosen because they could be trusted in the quiet, in the waiting, in the preparation. When God separates you, He does so with intention. You are not being overlooked. You are being observed, watched over, guided, and protected from things you cannot yet see. In this space, your character is being molded. Your resilience is being built. Your vision is being refined. You are being taught to depend not on others for your identity, but on the divine truth that has always been within you. You are being prepared to carry something sacred, something heavy, something meaningful, and the strength required for that cannot be developed in crowds. It must be developed in stillness. Many people rush through seasons of isolation, trying to escape the silence. But the favored woman understands that isolation is not emptiness. It is full of divine work. It is a place of deep transformation. What others see as delay, she learns to see as development. What others see as loneliness, she sees as intimacy with the divine. She learns to move not from fear of missing out, but from a place of inner assurance, because the woman who has been shaped in silence walks differently. She carries a grounded confidence that cannot be faked. Her presence does not beg for attention, because it commands respect through stillness alone. The world may not understand her journey, and it doesn't need to. Her validation does not come from being seen, but from being chosen. And when the time is right, she will emerge, not desperate for attention, but ready for assignment, not seeking applause, but aligned with purpose. Her isolation will have become her preparation. Her quiet season will have built her strength. Her hiddenness will have revealed her identity. She was not forgotten. She was favored. She was not being punished. She was being prepared for the calling only she could carry. There is something deeply powerful about a woman who remains calm in the midst of chaos. While the world around her trembles, she stands still, not because she is without fear, but because she has learned where her strength comes from. Her peace is not found in perfect circumstances. It does not depend on people behaving a certain way, or life moving according to plan. Her peace is anchored in something far greater, something that cannot be shaken by the storms of life. This kind of peace is not ordinary. It is evidence of divine favor. It is a spiritual inheritance reserved for those who have walked through fire and discovered that their soul remains untouched. When a woman is favored by God, she is not exempt from hardship. In fact, she often faces more intense trials than others, but what sets her apart is her response. She does not panic when plans fall apart. She does not lose her center when people disappoint her. She does not collapse under pressure because she has learned how to draw strength from a deeper well. Her calmness confuses those around her because they expect her to break, to complain, to give up. But she remains still, holding on to peace not as a feeling, but as a decision, a spiritual discipline she has cultivated through surrender. The storms come to everyone, but not everyone survives them with their identity intact. Many lose themselves in fear, in bitterness, in anxiety, but the favored woman has been trained differently. She has gone through seasons where the only option was to trust, where no answer came quickly, and yet she kept walking. Where uncertainty became a companion, and yet she found a rhythm inside the unknown. This training has built in her a rare resilience, a calm under pressure that is not loud or showy, but deeply rooted. She doesn't need to announce her faith, she lives it. She doesn't need to perform strength, she embodies it. Her peace is not naive. It is not the result of ignorance or denial. She is fully aware of what is happening. She sees the betrayal, the injustice, the disappointment, but she has also seen the hand of God move in her past, and she remembers. She remembers how she survived before, how she was carried through what she thought would destroy her. And in that remembrance she finds peace again. Her spirit becomes still, not because the world is calm, but because she knows who holds her world. There is a sacred elegance in how she moves through chaos. While others rush to fix, to fight, or to flee, she pauses, she breathes, she listens. She understands that not every battle is hers to fight. She knows when to act and when to be still. Her timing is not rushed because it is aligned. And in that alignment she finds rest. Even when there is no visible solution, she remains centered. Even when the future is unclear, she refuses to let fear make her decisions. This is not weakness. It is wisdom. People often mistake her stillness for indifference. They wonder why she does not panic, why she does not respond with the same urgency, but what they do not see is the depth of her spiritual roots. She has learned that her emotions are not always her guide, that reacting quickly is not always reacting wisely. She has discovered the power of waiting, of observing, of moving only when she is led, not when she is pressured. And because of this, her life becomes a testimony, not of avoidance, but of divine timing. This peace she carries affects more than just herself. It influences the people around her. In times of conflict, her words bring calm. In moments of confusion, her presence brings clarity. She becomes a pillar of strength for others, not by trying to fix everything, but simply by being grounded. Her peace becomes a shelter, a place where others feel safe to exhale. She does not try to control others or outcomes. She simply trusts, and in that trust she radiates an authority that cannot be learned from books, only from walking through the valley and discovering that God was with her all along. She may cry in private, she may wrestle with doubt in her own quiet moments, but when she steps into the world, she does so with a stillness that speaks louder than fear. She knows who she is. She knows who she is. And because of that, the storms lose their power. They may rage, but they do not reach her center, because her center is not in this world. It is rooted in something eternal, and that eternal grounding becomes her greatest protection. Her greatest weapon, her greatest gift. While others seek peace through control, she finds peace through surrender. While others build walls to protect themselves, she builds trust. And through that trust, she becomes unshakable, not because life is easy, but because her faith is deep. This is the kind of peace that only divine favor can produce. It is not performance. It is presence, not reaction, but revelation. She is not trying to impress anyone. She is simply being who she was created to be. And in doing so, she reminds others that peace is possible, even in the midst of the storm. There is a quiet, almost invisible power that some women carry. It's not loud or dramatic. It doesn't seek to dominate a room or demand recognition. Yet when such a woman enters a space, the energy shifts. Her presence brings a sense of calm, of safety, of something greater moving quietly beneath the surface. This is the mark of divine favor. It is not always what she says, but what she carries within her that makes the difference. The woman who is favored by God becomes a vessel, not just of wisdom or strength, but of healing, clarity, and light for others. She doesn't set out to be anyone's solution. She isn't trying to be the center of attention. In fact, much of her strength is revealed in how she listens, how she notices, how she holds space for others without judgment. People are drawn to her not because she has all the answers, but because they feel seen in her presence. Her energy does not compete, it complements. Her words do not condemn, they uplift. Her silence is not cold, it is grounding. And this effect she has on others is not something she planned or orchestrated. It is simply who she has become through her own journey with God. She knows what it means to be broken. She knows how it feels to walk through seasons of confusion, pain, and loss. And because she has done that deep inner work, she does not rush to fix people or preach to them. Instead, she reflects light. She reflects compassion. She becomes a mirror in which others can see who they are, not through the lens of shame or insecurity, but through the lens of grace. Her words, even when few, bring perspective. Her presence, even in silence, brings reassurance. There's a spiritual weight to her existence that cannot be explained by personality or background. It is something divine. When people leave her presence, they often feel lighter. Not because she solved their problems, but because she reminded them of their own power. She reminded them that healing is possible, that hope still exists, and that they are not alone. Her favor does not make her arrogant. It makes her generous. She gives not just from what she has, but from who she is. Her strength becomes a source of comfort. Her peace becomes contagious. Her clarity cuts through confusion, not with force, but with quiet wisdom. She understands that being favored does not mean being perfect. It means being surrendered. She does not pretend to have it all together. In fact, part of her healing presence comes from her vulnerability. She is willing to share her scars when the moment is right, not to gain sympathy, but to offer solidarity. She knows that true connection happens when people feel safe to be themselves, to admit their struggles, to speak their truth without fear. And because she creates that space, people are drawn to her, not for entertainment, but for encouragement, not for distraction, but for depth. There is a light in her eyes that cannot be dimmed by disappointment. It shines not because her life has been easy, but because she has chosen to keep her heart open, even when betrayed, even when misunderstood, even when overlooked. She has chosen not to let bitterness take root. She has chosen to remain soft in a hard world. That softness is not weakness, it is power under control, it is grace in motion, it is divine favor made visible through human kindness. She may not always realize the impact she has. She may question herself at times, wondering if she is doing enough, giving enough, being enough. But the truth is, the favor she carries does more than she knows. A single conversation with her can shift someone's entire perspective. A simple gesture of kindness can restore someone's faith in humanity. A word spoken in the right moment can plant a seed that blossoms long after she's gone. She is not always aware of the ripple effect she creates, but heaven sees it. Heaven honors it. Her favor is not for show, it is for service. She is not favored so she can be elevated above others. She is favored so she can lift others up. And she does so not by controlling or correcting, but by embodying a higher standard of love. Her life becomes a testimony, not of perfection, but of purpose. Her journey speaks to the fact that you can go through trials and still be gentle. You can carry burdens and still offer light. You can be deeply aware of pain and still choose joy. Those who encounter her may not remember every word she says, but they will remember how she made them feel. They will remember the sense of peace, the feeling of being heard, the clarity that came from a simple exchange. She becomes a living example of what divine favor looks like when it's walked out in humility and truth. Not flashy, not loud, just real, just present, just light in a world that desperately needs it. There are moments in life when everything seems to be moving in the right direction, when opportunities appear to be aligning, when doors seem ready to open, and then suddenly, without warning, those doors close. What once felt promising begins to fade, plans unravel, relationships shift, paths that once felt clear become clouded with uncertainty. For many, these moments bring frustration and confusion, but for a woman favored by God, these closed doors carry a different meaning. They are not signs of failure or rejection. They are signs of divine redirection. She learns to see with spiritual eyes, to interpret interruptions as instructions, and to trust that what feels like delay is actually divine timing at work. A woman favored by God walks a different path. She is not led by her emotions alone or by what appears logical on the surface. She is led by faith, by discernment, by an inner knowing that whispers when to move forward and when to pause. She begins to recognize that not every open door is a divine invitation. Some are distractions, some are tests, and some are detours disguised as blessings. Because of this awareness, she does not chase every opportunity. She listens, she waits, she watches, and when a door closes, she does not fall apart. She leans in, asking what lesson is being revealed and what better direction is being prepared. This level of trust does not come easily. It is forged in seasons where disappointment becomes familiar, where prayers seem unanswered and timelines feel shattered. But through each closed door, she begins to see a pattern. Every redirection brought her closer to alignment. Every delay protected her from something she didn't yet understand. Every pause was filled with purpose. This is the wisdom that favor brings, not immunity from pain, but clarity in the middle of it. She doesn't interpret a closed door as a sign that she's not good enough. Instead, she begins to believe that she's being saved for something greater. There is maturity in how she responds to disappointment. She doesn't rush to force things to happen. She doesn't beg for validation from people who walk away. She doesn't cling to what is fading just because it once made her feel safe. Her spirit has been trained to release what no longer serves her, even when it hurts. She has learned to bless the closed doors, to trust the no's, and to see divine fingerprints in the silence. She understands that timing is everything, that stepping into something too soon can ruin what was meant to bless her, and so she waits with intention, not with fear, but with faith. While others may view her delays as setbacks, she sees them as protection. While others grow bitter when denied, she grows deeper in trust. This inner posture shapes how she walks through life. She is not easily shaken. She does not crumble under rejection. She knows who she is, and more importantly, she knows who is guiding her. This connection with divine timing becomes her compass. She moves when it's time, not when she feels pressured. She speaks when her words are aligned, not when her ego wants to be heard. She acts with purpose, not with panic. There is strength in her restraint. It takes courage to stop forcing things, to stop begging people to stay, to stop pushing open doors that are clearly being closed. It takes wisdom to trust that sometimes the very thing you're praying for is not the thing that will bless you. And so she releases her plans, not because she has given up, but because she has grown up. She recognizes that favor doesn't always look like success. Sometimes it looks like being denied the wrong thing, so you can be prepared for the right one. This trust transforms her. She becomes a woman who is not desperate, not frantic, not constantly striving. She is steady, grounded, confident in the unseen. People may wonder why she doesn't chase every opportunity, why she doesn't fight for every relationship, why she doesn't panic when things shift. What they don't realize is that she has learned to recognize divine movement. She knows the difference between a door that closes because of fear and one that closes because of favor, and she chooses to honor the closing as much as the opening. This way of living does not make her passive. It makes her powerful, because when she does move, she moves in alignment. When she does speak, her words carry weight. When she does step into a new season, she is fully prepared, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, because she waited, because she trusted, because she didn't rush the process. Her timing is not just perfect, it is divine, and that divine timing becomes a testimony, a reflection of a life not led by chance, but by calling. Not by pressure, but by purpose. Not by fear, but by favor. What defines a woman favored by God is not her comfort, popularity, or outward success. It is the quiet strength she carries through seasons of isolation, the unshakable peace she maintains in the middle of chaos, the healing light she offers through her presence, and the trust she places in divine timing even when doors close. Her life is not shaped by the validation of others, but by the alignment of her spirit with a higher purpose. She does not need to prove her worth, because she lives from a place of knowing it. Her favor is not a decoration, it is a calling. And as she walks in obedience, grace, and humility, she becomes a living testimony of what is possible when a woman surrenders to something greater than herself. In every step, every silence, every redirection, she reflects the quiet power of a life divinely led. She is not just surviving, she is rising, evolving, becoming, not for applause, but for purpose, not for recognition, but for impact. She is a woman favored by God, and the world is better because of her.